What's good, everybody? Israel, and I'll come back at you with another video. So this video is going to be about your thoughts and to really explain and dive deep into your true power of your thoughts. Now, all I ask for you for this video is for you to truly pay attention and to listen to what I'm about to say, because it is extremely powerful information that I think most people are just oblivious to, or they're just sort of sleepwalking past it. And hopefully by the end of this video, you'll better understand your true power, and to help you realize why you are worthy, why you are deserving, and why you are such a powerful creature, right? I like to say this in a lot of my videos all the time and continuously harp on it and highlight it to you because it is the truth, right? I want you to begin believing in yourself, to have confidence in yourself, and to believe in your abilities and your capabilities, right? Because I understand the majority of the people just think that they're just an average, normal person and that there's nothing special to them and that they're just one in 8 billion people on the planet. But that couldn't be further from the truth, because you have such you have such great power within you that you just need to be aware of it, appreciate it, and accept it so that it can begin coming to form, right? Because you use that power to shape all areas of your life all the time. And oftentimes people do that, subconsciously, without, or by default, without ever knowing that they're doing that, right? So I know I said a lot, but let me dive into the meat of this video, right? This video is going to be about your thoughts, and I want to highlight the true power of your thoughts. Now listen carefully to what I'm about to say, right? If I were to use an example, let me use this video right now that I'm recording as an example. This video that I'm doing right now, it stemmed from an idea. The idea, of course, appeared in my mind, right? It was a thought that I had. Now, what you need to know is this, right? With your imagination, with your creativity, you have an infinite supply of it, right? And a lot of times your ideas, your thoughts, the great ideas that you get literally come from thin air, right? It's almost like it comes from thin air. And with that idea, with that thought that you have, that can end up leading to creation of something, which in this case, a video, right? So just imagine, I had a thought, I had an idea for this video, and that idea, eventually gave me, now of course I created like sort of like a roadmap of different ideas, different points that I want to talk about for this video. But with that singular idea, that thought that came to my mind, it led me to record this video and essentially create a video. So what I effectively did is I created something from nothing, right? This video is now a tangible video. Well, of course it's on the internet, but this video is a product. It is something tangible right now, right? You can go watch it and learn something, right? So I created a product. I created something that stemmed from an idea, that stemmed from a thought. So it's almost, not almost, it is effectively creating something from nothing. And that is the power that you have. That is the power that most people are not aware of or are not conscious of, right? That they can use their mind, their thoughts, their imagination, their creativity, and create something out of nothing, right? Virtually out of nothing, out of thin air, right? Because it's not like we ever run out of ideas. It's not like we ever run out of creativity, right? You can have infinitely great ideas. And this idea for this video is just one of the many infinite great ideas that I will continue to receive and get for the remainder of my life. And that is the same with you, right? This is why you are a powerful creature, because you can use your mind, your imagination to create something that has never been seen before. And you can create that and bring it to the surface, bring it to the real world. And it'll basically be that you created something out of nothing. If I were to use an example, right? Another example, for those of you who, go on YouTube from time to time, you've likely heard of a YouTuber known as Mr. Beast. I'm pretty sure he's the biggest YouTuber in the entire world, in the globe, right? His channel and everything that he does all began with one idea. It all started with a singular thought. And that thought was to do videos, right? His idea to want to do videos, right, ended up branching out into him creating the most ridiculous or absurd videos, and that is what led him to blow up on, here on YouTube on the platform. And now each and every video that he does it begins with a thought. It begins with an idea. That's where all creation begins. Everything that you see in your physical world, right? It doesn't matter if it's a pair of keys, it doesn't matter if it's a watch, it doesn't matter if it's money, it doesn't matter if it's a cinder block, a building, it doesn't matter if it's a car, a band-aid, whatever it is. All of these objects, everything that you see was once an idea, was once a thought in someone's mind. So it's silly for people to think that they're just an average person, that they're just a normal person, and that there's nothing that they can offer, that there's nothing that they can provide of value to the world. I'm here to tell you that you are powerful, that you are worthy, that you are deserving of it all. You always have been and you always will be. And the fact that you can have thoughts and ideas and you can essentially effectively create something out of nothing in certain areas, then you can do that for all other areas of your life, right? Everything that everyone has done, or even the person that you've become, all started with an idea, right? The person that I am now today all started as an idea, right? Because I operated a certain way back then, and there were certain ideas that I came across, and I said, you know what, let me adopt that. Or certain ideas about myself, and I said, okay, well, why do I need to be operating this way? Let me change that, right? So even the person you are right now is because of the thoughts and ideas that you had about yourself and how you should be thinking and operating, right? Everything always begins with an idea. Everything always begins with a thought. All creation always begins with a thought. Therefore, your thoughts pretty much control everything, right? And that is the true power of them. See, people, and that's the thing, because thoughts are powerful, you can use it either in your benefit or against you, right? You can use it in your favor to help propel you forward, or it can end up having a destructive power that, damages you and those around you, right? That is the true power of thoughts. They hold power, they hold weight. That's why people say thoughts are things. You've probably heard that term before if you've ever, went through material here in the personal development space, right? You've probably heard of saying that thoughts are things. And this is true. Why? Because with this video as an example, this video idea started in my mind. It began as an idea, it began as a thought. And now me recording this video and sharing this information to you, it became a thing. It now exists. And you're able to see what I had in my mind because of this video that I'm recording. It's not that you've been able to watch, right? And it's the same idea with everything else in life. It all begins with a thought. So this is the true power of your thoughts, right? Your thoughts are powerful. Your thoughts are what creates your life and your world. So this is why you want to think good thoughts. This is why you want to think positive thoughts. This is why you want to think thoughts that work in your favor. Why? Because if you think thoughts that work in your favor, then you'll begin to create that in your life. You'll begin to create positivity, things working out, things being great, things going well for you. Some people, they only think negative thoughts. They only think thoughts of not being good enough, not being capable enough, right? And so if you believe that about yourself, then all that means is that the rest of your life and your world is going to reflect that, because it's going to reflect your thoughts, right? If you believe you are good enough, that you are capable enough, right, that you are worthy, then you will go after the things that you want to go after. You will pursue it because you believe that you can, right? There's also saying, whether someone can or someone can't, either way, they're both right. It's the same idea. It's about perspective. It's, if you don't believe you can do it, then chances are you're just going to throw your hands up and give up. And then if you give up, then that'll be the end of that. But if you believe you can, then you're going to exhaust all options. You're going to leave no stone unturned. You're going to keep going until you win. If you believe you can, then your belief will create the fact, because you are going to keep going and going and going until it happens. And then when it happens, right, it won't look so crazy after all, because it ended up being a self-fulfilling prophecy. So of course, be careful with what you think, of course, right? But you want to make sure you are your own number one cheerleader, that you are your own number one supporter, because you want to continue creating good and positivity for yourself and for the world and for people around you, right? And you ultimately want to be proud of yourself and be proud of the person that you become. You want to continue growing into the best version of yourself, because you deserve it for yourself, and the rest of the world deserves to see that, so that they can also be inspired to bring out the best version of themselves too. So with this video, I hope that this video was able to highlight the true power of your thoughts, because you need to remember that thoughts and ideas, right, they come from thin air, right? You can randomly be walking down the street and then you can get an epiphany, or get this just amazing $1 million idea, $1 billion idea, and it'll be almost like coming out of thin air. If I go back to the Mr. Beast example, him wanting to do YouTube, him wanting to create videos, that ended up being a $1 billion idea. It may not have seemed like that at the beginning, right, when no one knew who he was, or the early stages of him building himself up, but that ended up being a $1 billion idea, because that is literally what he's worth. That is what his channel's worth, right? All of his videos bring in tens of millions, hundreds of millions, billions of dollars, right? Because he built that empire, and that empire began with a singular idea, right? So if he didn't have that idea, it's very possible that he could have had another $1 billion idea and still end up becoming, great in another avenue. But it all started because of one idea. It all began because of one thought of doing videos and figuring out what made YouTube videos great, and striving to be the best content creator, and doing the most absurd, ridiculous, like out of this world content, right? Like, it all started because of the one idea of him wanting to do videos. So this is why you should not ever discredit yourself, that you should not, right? Like, everything we create, everything we have and make in this lifetime, it all begins with this singular idea. So this video is for anyone who belittles themselves and think that they're not good enough or they're not worthy. Just remember that, like, you have access to the same power that all these other people have access to, right? It's the thoughts, it's the ideas that you have in your mind, and these ideas literally create something out of nothing. All of Mr. Beast's videos that have generated hundreds of millions, if not billions of views on YouTube, and all of those videos came because of ideas. It was just thoughts that people had, and it became reality. It, like, something came about it from nothing, from simply just imagination, and you will always have an infinite supply of it. You can never run out of it. So this is the beauty of it all. This is the beauty of life. So this is why, you have the ability to change your life. That's why it doesn't matter how bad your life may seem, or how bad things may be going, because maybe you're just one idea away, one great idea, one good thought away from changing it all, right? And at the end of the day, life is all about perspective anyway. So if you have positive ideas, positive thoughts, positive thinking, then your life isn't really going bad, because it's all about perspective anyways, right? So you see how thoughts themselves have infinite power and infinite potential to do anything, to be created into anything. So, and the fact that you have access to that power at all times, that means that you are equally great. That means you have God power within you. You have divine power within you, right? That is who you are and who you've been this entire time. And if you felt differently, it's likely because you were conditioned by your environment, by the people around you, by media, whatever it is, to have you believe otherwise, to have you believe that there was never anything special to you to begin with. When you have access to a tremendous power, divine power, infinite power that you can tap into at any moment and create something out of nothing. So that wraps up the video. Enjoy the video. Do leave a like and subscribe as we go on the road to a million subscriber, guys. So once again, it's Joel, and I'm out. I'll see you guys for the next video.